Calvin Lee Vail. Before he was known for tearing down channels a fraction of his size as Leafyishere, he owned a Minecraft server that grossed over $100,000 before he hit his 20s. The stresses of running this server were unexpectedly worse than any stress he incurred through YouTube. This in a way primed him for the immense growth his channel received, a channel that for many initially served as a window to the stranger and darker parts of YouTube. Leafy acted as a guide that spewed almost nothing but words of denouncement towards his subjects. From children to people with disabilities, Leafy attacked them all with little remorse. Growing faster and faster with each one of his controversies, at his peak, Leafy seemed unstoppable. Though it was only poetic that the subjugation of constant ridicule that he brought upon others was also brought upon him through a single video that spread far and wide through YouTube. Many think this is what caused his initial downfall, but in actuality, there were hidden powers that brought on a slow and painful decline to his channel that stopped posting in 2017. But to everyone's surprise, he came back.
What up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to a brand new video.
And when he came back strong in 2020 with a less caricaturized version of himself and received wide support. But these hidden powers had had enough of his antics, and overnight banned him without warning. A move that many content creators rallied against. But their outcries were ignored, as the banning of Leafy and similar content creators served as a clear message from YouTube that they can and will strip you from your channel if you give them bad publicity. That is why this story must be told. The story of the rise and fall of Leafyishere. The story begins with the beginnings of Leafy's channel, which was created October 7, 2011 by a 16-year-old Calvin Lee Vail. Beyond the traditional roles a typical American teen takes, like attending high school or going to parties, Leafy, while still partaking in these, was also learning to code using Java, a highly popular programming language that at the time was used for things as big as web browsers or as small as JRATs. As for what a JRAT is, the exact definition changes depending on who you ask. The J stands for Java, easy enough. The RAT can stand for Remote Access Tool, Remote Admin Tool, or Remote Access Trojan. Different definitions describing a similar virus. A virus that can be used to remotely access the infected computer by doing things such as implementing a keylogger that records keystrokes in order to steal passwords and all forms of personal data, which can see many malicious applications online. It is unknown for what purpose Leafy coded these. Perhaps to sell the code for monetary gain or to use the software for his own online attacks. Regardless of the intent, coding these helped Leafy sharpen his Java coding skills, and something else that ran on Java was the fast to popularize game taking the internet by storm, Minecraft. Like many players that knew how to code using Java, whether teens or full-grown adults began hosting their own Minecraft servers, spending hundreds of dollars to launch them. A simple idea soured when it was discovered how much money people could make by monetizing their Minecraft servers. Keep in mind that this was far before Mojang started cracking down on servers that relied on a pay-to-win motto. As the motto suggests, it allowed the highest tier donators in any given server to dominate the rest of the players. Whether it was selling ranks that gave access to in-game equipment or commands, as Leafy referred to them, rich Dubai kids paid unbelievable amounts of money for items or even a plot of land in a populated area on the server. So in reality, it was not the average player that lined Leafy's wallet, but the rare, wandering rich Minecraft player that could expend a couple $1,000s like the average person buys a candy bar. But before that became a larger part of Leafy's life, he was still growing his YouTube channel, which mainly consisted of videos of him playing Minecraft. A typical Let's Play series, interchangeable with a sea of channels trying to start their own Minecraft Let's Plays. Leafy, understanding his situation and demotivated at the lack of views on his videos, was learning that getting an initial audience to watch his videos was one of the most difficult parts of growing his channel. So he formulated a plan that started with a 4 or so paragraph message that went along the lines of, "Hey big Minecraft YouTuber with a large following, I've been watching your videos since day one. Can I please get some advice on how to grow? Please check out my videos." That, of course, is a more dramatized example of his message that was sent out, possibly using a bot, to any Minecraft channel that Leafy could somehow get into contact with. He eventually saw the fruits of his labor when around late 2011, a Minecraft channel that goes by Static777 left a like on one of Leafy's videos. This small gesture had a big impact on Leafy's channel, as this in a way promoted his channel by allowing users of Static777 to look at his recent activity and also see that he liked Leafy's video, which led a small stream of curious viewers to Leafy's channel. This got Leafy his first 50 subscribers, which was enough to get him the initial growth he sought. After this, Leafy used his channel to heavily promote his Minecraft server by almost exclusively only making Let's Plays on it, which also, as his channel grew, meant that his server had around 20 active players at any given point. More viewers means more people on his server spending money. With some consistency, Leafy in 2012, with a slowly growing subscriber base, was invited to the YouTube Partner Program when he reached around 700 subscribers, meaning that he was now able to earn revenue from his videos. Though it was still a very small amount considering his channel size and that he uploaded 1 to 3 Minecraft videos a week, gaining a little under 1,000 subscribers a month. He'd also try his hand at live streaming, but with little success. Still, he started making a bit of a name for himself and his Minecraft username, Leafyishere, as it was becoming somewhat recognizable within the player versus player or PvP servers he'd visit, sometimes making threats to disrupt someone's internet through a DDoS attack. This is where we get into the dark side of the cube. Back then, Minecraft on the surface was an innocent game targeted at children and a way to express your creativity. Though behind the scenes, people were still creative, but in much more malicious manners like the aforementioned DDoS attack, a practice common within the Minecraft server owner community. As servers started to become more successful and those running them could earn a livable wage, those left running these servers went through a trial of fire set by other server owners, where the new server owners found that they could survive by using the same malicious tactics that were applied against them. These tactics include, but are not limited to, doxing, where your identifying information was released to harass you beyond a computer. Extreme cases of doxing include anonymous calls where the harassers lie to the police stating that you are putting others in danger in order to get a SWAT team to raid your place of residence and possibly kill you.
I'm with you.
DDoS attacks or denial of service attacks that temporarily shut down servers or the host internet connection. Hit squads. Server owners would pay several attackers to hunt down active players on a server and continually kill them until they quit out of frustration, effectively skimming a server's population. It should be noted that banning the raiding players was largely ineffective, as these people often had over 100 Minecraft accounts each. That means they'd switch between accounts as their account in action was banned from a server. Another vicious tactic was domain nabbing. Whenever a server owner's domain was back on auction after their paid time with a said URL had expired, a competing server owner would immediately purchase it and have it redirect to their own website. You owned previously was now instead promoting your competition that just nabbed your domain. And finally, in the most extreme cases, lawsuits, which will be later mentioned in the video. While the largest of servers were usually not messed with, it is unknown how much or often Leafy engaged in these tactics. But what is known is that all of these tactics help scare away the smaller starting server owners, leaving those average-sized server owners to partake in these tactics in a constant competition where they'd attempt to one-up each other's hostilities. Sometimes they'd formulate alliances, where a group of server owners were pit against another group and fling various insults at each other through TeamSpeak servers, which was also something Leafy took part in, starting at around 17 years old.
You know how much money I fucking make, bro?
0.
Damn, you are a
I got
coward.
motherfuckers like this hiring me to take care of motherfuckers like you.
Making this one of the most stressful periods in his life, even more stressful than any future drama on YouTube. But it paid decently, with the server bringing in thousands of dollars a month in 2013. A fair portion of that money went to things like having his server promoted by other YouTubers. Many times he got free publicity by collaborating with another channel. After all, he now had a sizable Minecraft channel of his own, sitting at around 18,000 subscribers, though not all were keen to work with him, as Leafy still had many enemies, which is most likely how his channel got suspended for a short period of time, most likely due to people reporting the videos promoting his Minecraft server as a scam and having YouTube take them down. But Leafy eventually got his channel back up and had this to say.
I got suspended. It was just kind of like a mess up. I didn't break any rules, and I got my channel back. The day I found out that my channel was suspended, I was seriously like, you guys have no idea how nervous I was.
While Leafy hardly had control of people flagging his channel, those pestering him asking to be paid to stop their DDoS attacks is where a large portion of Leafy's earnings most likely went to, along with paying an additional fee to have these online mercenaries backstab the person that contracted them originally. Leafy estimated that mid-sized server owners paid attackers on average $4,000 a month to avoid being targeted. Before Leafy invested in services like Voxility, he was a large target for these attacks. The stress of it all was notable in Leafy's vlogs that he started uploading around 2014, showing something as simple as a room tour and talking about what's going on in his life. The reason that hole in the wall exists is because of Drake. Not the Drake, but rather an anonymous lone wolf that formed no alliances that was also hated throughout the Minecraft server owner community. As for Drake's interactions with him, Drake began DDoSing Leafy's server, then requested $500 to stop the attack. When Leafy paid that, Drake responded with "thanks for the money" and continued his attack, which is when Leafy punched a hole in the wall and began a crusade to find Drake's true identity. But in the end was an unsuccessful venture which Leafy spent around $10,000 on. Though Drake was eventually unmasked by a highly influential server owner that even Leafy feared, who sued Drake and possibly landed him in jail. Interestingly enough, Leafy's anger towards Drake helped him more than he could ever imagine, as it inspired Kids Who DDoS, a comedic video where Leafy discusses DDoSing and the effects of it in various games, with mostly unrelated gameplay footage in the background.
Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be talking about DDoSing.
This video highlights Leafy's new transition in content. Instead of focusing purely on Minecraft content, which was at a downward trend at this time, Leafy was branching out to various different games like League of Legends, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and various other games he showcased for a video or two. With few videos, the footage did coincide with the topic of the video, like when discussing his history with the game or the way he'd peruse unofficial gambling sites. Going forward, the footage of his gameplay usually added nothing but a colorful placeholder while he discussed what he needed to in his video. The most memorable and most used type of footage was from the online competitive game Counter-Strike Global Offensive. However, it was not traditional gameplay. He was instead playing on community-made surfing maps where the objective was to glide down or through a map, using the momentum gained from gliding on rails of angled surfaces while avoiding the hazards throughout the map. While telling a story with unrelated attached gameplay footage dates back to even the earliest days of YouTube, CSGO surfing was simple and easy to follow gameplay that Leafy had laid domain over. The topics discussed in these surfing videos ranged widely. Sometimes he'd talk about a personal story, which is something that Leafy excelled in, because you can direct an extremely well-made video with fancy graphics and invest a good chunk of money into using copyrighted music. But if the writing is terrible or the delivery is poor, then it usually flops, which in reality he only needed decent writing and good delivery to make his stories interesting. When Leafy told a story, he'd always blow them up and make them feel larger than they truly were, while still correcting himself and trying to keep things in the realm of reality. The same could be said about his content discussing popular internet videos or stereotypes of players that he derogatorily deemed as kids, not because they were kids, but because he called them that to insult their maturity. Referring back to Leafy's timeline on YouTube, while he was still experimenting with other forms of content, now entering 2015, Minecraft videos still took priority. His experimentation into different styles of videos brought interesting results. Take note of his ZOMG series. While the Wayback Machine did not save the thumbnails, the titles themselves clue us in enough as to what the videos are about, as it highlights his ascension towards clickbait-style videos using keywords such as best, unbelievable, rage, most epic, If you look at these sets of videos and compare them to his traditional Minecraft content that was posted around the same time, it is obvious there is a clear winner. It also helped that his new style of videos were self-contained, meaning that they did not follow an obvious episodic format and they were easier to consume. People stopping by his channel when all he made were Minecraft videos were less likely to consume his content because of the sheer exhaustion it would take to catch up to episode 86. So these self-contained videos allowed viewers to get an easy taste of Leafy and grow individually through different parts of YouTube being suggested next to whatever popular or relatively unknown thing he was talking about. A big part of his new content was the personification of it, which was exemplified in his vlogs. It's easy enough to make a YouTube channel and add a text-to-speech bot in place of a real voice discussing whatever topic you'd like, but you never see these channels gain an actual following. A voice provides a unique aspect to a person that can hardly be replicated. So a vlog in your room thanking your viewers for getting you to 23,000 subscribers makes you less anonymous and more of a person. It makes you more memorable and does that much to set you apart from the channels with no tangible human touch. To sum it up, the more unique and tangible you make yourself online, the faster of a following you'll get, which was being reflected through Leafy's sub count. As for his Minecraft server, he was still developing it and adding new aspects and servers that serve different purposes. Trailers and other people interacting with him and his server still exist on YouTube today. But this era of Leafy is mostly forgotten, as the waves of influence that began striking YouTube overpowered much of his history, starting with videos like Kids at DDoS, along with rants like I Hate Google+, which was the popular opinion at the time. But Kids at DDoS' sudden jump from thousands of views to nearly 1 million set a clear path to Leafy's success. So if there was any point in time that pinpointed Leafy's rise, it was during April of 2015. Due to his nearly daily uploads and new style of content in that month alone, he doubled in views. In May, another jump of 80,000 plus views. Then in June, he went from getting around 200,000 views a month to 800,000 views, which doubled again in July, quadrupled in August, and so on. It should be noted that Leafy's content at this time was focused on stereotypes in gaming, discussing the various annoying types of people he met through his time online. Though these followed an episodic theme, they were largely detached from one another. There was really no one target in these videos, just a broad range of personalities that he and his growing viewer base found annoying, often accompanied with commentary from his friend that went by Quirky. An interesting side note is that these videos were uploaded through the Wi-Fi of a local coffee shop because his internet back home was so poor. As for his channel, naturally with the large amount of views he was getting, he was also receiving a big jump in subscribers, hitting 100,000 in August of 2015, and rewarded his fans with a face reveal.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Leafy is beefy with his face cam on.
While his face did apply more personality to Leafy's brand, there was something more influential developing in August of 2015. The origins of this development can be traced back to a small joke made in Leafy's video, Kids at YouTube 2. From this video, the Reptilian Brotherhood was birthed, with fans making art of Leafy as a reptilian, which Leafy responded to about a week and a half later with a video titled Reptilians. In the description, he uttered their most famous phrase, hiss. Going forward, many of Leafy's videos were spammed with this phrase. As for Leafy himself, following his increasing success on YouTube, started traveling. First to PAX Prime in 2015, which he received free tickets for, then to Amsterdam, London, and various other places across Europe in September of 2015. His content now delving into stories about his use of various substances, many of which are illegal for consumption inside the United States. And while Leafy was touring Europe, his audience set it upon themselves to spread his likeness around the globe as well, starting when Leafy mentioned a CSGO content creator Anomaly in one of his videos. This mere mention prompted Leafy's growing fanbase to spam his chat with hisses. And when Anomaly turned sub mode on, so only Anomaly subscribers could chat in his livestream, they hissed as well. When asked about the origins of the hissing, viewers pointed out it came from Leafy's channel. This soon spread to other CSGO YouTubers that were having their comment sections spammed with hisses. on October 11th, at the end of a video discussing teachers that take their job too seriously, Leafy discussed the anomaly hiss rate, saying that he found it funny, which no doubt encouraged his viewers to replicate this behavior towards other content creators, and so they did. There were few bastions that Leafy's fans did penetrate. The reptilian army's copy pastas could be found in the most innocent cooking videos to a random Watch Mojo countdown. This situation was brought to light by Leafy yet again 2 days later, which only intensified the amount of hissing. Shortly after this video was posted, the situation was covered on Drama Alert. Through this massive campaign, many large and small content creators now became aware of Leafy, which opened many paths to friendship, like eventually befriending other commentary channels like H3H3 Productions, Pyrocynical, and even entertainment news channels like Drama Alert. Many of their viewers also became aware of Leafy and joined in on the hissing, feeding his channel more subscribers. It's safe to say that many content creators jumped on the bandwagon, but in large part due to the relentless spamming, Leafy started to make few enemies while also developing the obvious raid tactic towards anyone he'd mention in his videos. Even those that Leafy slightly alluded towards were not safe from his rampant fans. As at this point in time, Leafy, when talking about YouTubers or mannerisms that annoyed him, kept the YouTubers he was talking about anonymous, describing their actions instead to paint a picture of who he was talking about without of course revealing their identity. Sometimes he was too descriptive and talked about a rather hard to watch video of a high school student screaming "Do the Harlem Shake" in a high school cafeteria. 2 days later, this video was then followed by another video where Leafy discussed how his viewers brigaded the video Leafy mentioned, prompting a response from the person in the video that Leafy mentioned. This was one of, if not the first instance, where Leafy addressed someone else directly instead of only talking about their actions. After all, this person did make a response video towards Leafy. Beyond that, for the month of November, he continued his standard content of storytelling and a few gameplay-based videos. But it was clear that this was not the optimal way to grow his channel, as he was going through a few dips in views. This all changed November 28th, as this day defined what many remember to be Leafy's definitive form of content, and that is discussing and ridiculing other content creators for a single video or their actions spread across several videos. But because who he was targeting at this point in time, he was still getting a lot of support, as the video uploaded on November 28, 2015 was discussing a YouTuber that goes by Lispy Jimmy, a relatively disliked member of the YouTube community. The following day, he talked about Birdgasm, another infamous figure that was specifically known for creating mature or rather extremely inappropriate content for anyone under the theme of Minecraft videos made for children.
These are his top videos. Fucking this, dude. Who does this? Reaper Escape? What the fuck?
The next day, he did a video on Sam Pepper and so on. In December, he mixed in a few of these videos along with his usual stories, but the success of these videos was clear. 4 out of 5 of these videos are directly discussing another content creator, and they're growing faster than any other form of his content. This video that he uploaded in December is already nearly doing better than one of his most popular videos that has been on his channel since late 2014. The clear path of success is to make more of these, which is exactly what he started to do in January of 2016. A bit of analysis as to why these videos were so popular is that they usually hit controversial figures that were currently being discussed around YouTube, meaning that YouTube recommended it to more people discussing the same topic. And building on top of that is that Leafy, with his comments and opinions, sometimes made his own drama that was regularly featured on other channels like Drama Alert, giving him more publicity and growing his channel faster than he'd ever seen. As just 4 months ago, he was at 100,000 subscribers. Now, he was almost at 1 million. But not everyone he talked about had a massive following, as he was branching out to all sorts of strange or controversial figures that inhabited YouTube. Some of these figures had less than 100 subscribers that, whether satirical or not, actions were being showcased to nearly 1 million of Leafy's followers. From furries to children in Minecraft, Leafy covered it all. And on the topic of Minecraft, it seems that he detached himself from the server that he was running, possibly because of the stress, him making significantly more money on YouTube, or the fact that Mojang was cracking down on pay-to-win servers like Leafy's. This all meant that he had no intention of owning a server. As for what happened to Para PvP, it seems to have closed down late 2016 due to lack of donations. But back to the topic at hand, Leafy was on a roll making videos about the strange people of YouTube. Videos meaning not only just describing the variety of people he'd cover, but also the amount of times he'd cover any one figure. Take for example Mr. Black Darkness 666, a unconventional content creator that made a video describing and showing how he lives in a small town and how children at his local park are bullying him. Leafy, alongside making comedic remarks about the fact that literal children are bullying him and that Mr. Black Darkness told the children to go fuck themselves, gave a few words of advice, knowing that there was an off chance that Mr. Black Darkness was going to watch this video. And oh, he did. In reaction to Leafy's video on him, Mr. Black Darkness, in response, almost immediately made a video on Leafy titled, "Leafy is here, go fuck yourself."
This Leafy fuckwad, I'm gonna make sure you burn, you little asshole.
Showing an unhinged Mr. Black Darkness with running mascara, consuming alcohol, responding to Leafy's video, saying he'll get what's coming to him. This led to a short series of response videos where Mr. Black Darkness performs a curse on Leafy, seemingly in a speedo because, according to him, you have to be as naked as possible to allow the dark spirits to flow through you. Leafy then responded to the curse placed on him and placed one on Mr. Black Darkness through Microsoft Paint.
Oh God, Lucifer, hear my plea.
Oh God, Lucifer, hear my plead. Holy shit, he's fucking bleeding from this, dude. This is like actually a proper fucking satanic ritual. You just fucking ate me, dude. What the fuck?
While there were a few follow-up videos made on both sides, the situation eventually came to a close on Drama Alert on January 30th, 2016, where a discussion was done with Keemstar as the mediator.
Let's get roll.
Why can't you just make another video telling them to fucking calm down and...
That's exactly what I was talking about with me and Pyro. We were thinking about making a video talking about satire content and how we make videos about people, but again, it's just parody.
It seems that Mr. Black Darkness did eventually lift the curse. Remaining on topic of the discussion, it was later revealed by Leafy himself that he lied about making follow-up videos with his fellow content creator friend Pyrocynical, telling his audience not to harass the topics of his videos. The most visible thing Leafy had done to deter harassment that was not even implemented until a couple months later is add this section to his video description discouraging his fans to not go on witch hunts. But even then, it was hardly a deterrence. In fact, the lack of a deterrence is what caused his first large-scale controversy and potentially started his downfall. You see, Leafy used to get much of his content from the r/cringe subreddit, where he'd find all sorts of difficult to watch but easy to dissect videos. That's when he came across this video about a man in a fedora who noticed that a woman had left her container of freshly purchased eggs on top of her car and was about to drive out of the grocery store parking lot.
She was pulling out and I handed her eggs. Isn't that right, ma'am?
It is, thank you. I didn't realize I put eggs on top of the car. I appreciate that very much.
Tommy NC 2010. This guy flagged her down and prevented the eggs from falling off. It was a good deed that made him want to start recording and encourage others to do the same thing. So he asked the woman if he could make a video with her and she agreed, which is how this video was made. There is an obvious tension of awkwardness in the video between Tommy and the people he helped because his speech of doing good things is so drawn out. But that may have not been apparent to Tommy because, as we know now, he is autistic and social situations may be different for him. As it stands, his motives were good and he did help someone. Regardless, he gained a bit of notoriety through this video, appearing on television through Tosh.0, where the host also made comedic remarks at Tommy's video while inviting him to be on the show to take part in some skits. Leafy, most likely knowing a good amount of this information, set out to make a video ridiculing Tommy a bit worse than Tosh did. The major difference is Tosh's audience mostly consume television and are largely uninteractive. But Leafy's audience is on the same platform as Tommy's and are well known for brigading videos that Leafy discusses. At this point, it was already established that Leafy had a way more active audience, for better or for worse, than the average YouTuber. So after Leafy made this video, Tommy's video was bombarded with dislikes, and comment section was littered with the typical comments of hiss and KYS, meaning kill yourself, leading Tommy to almost immediately post this video as a response.
I'm having a difficult time right now because some people are threatening my life, threatening my family, and all I wanted to do was inspire people.
This enraged many people, enough so that it blew up on r/videos and started what was known as Memegate. One of the people annoyed at Leafy was H3H3, a friend, or now ex-friend of Leafy, when he uploaded a soon-to-be-deleted video titled The Leafy Rant.
Leafy made a video about a guy like he usually does, calling him a fucking asshole, cringy, weirdo, you know, whatever. It turns out that this guy is actually autistic.
While there is some truth to H3H3's claims, like how Leafy aggressively clickbaits his videos, and how his content slowly transitioned from going after those deserving of criticism to those more vulnerable to criticism like children.
Here's making fun of a kid. Here's making fun of a kid. Here's making fun of a kid. Kid.
As H3H3 states himself, there is some hypocrisy in him calling out Leafy, as in the past, H3H3 has made similar videos, which is something Leafy discussed further in his H3H3 rant posted after an apology video about Tommy NC.
So first off, before I say anything, I just want to say, guys, I fucked up. But regardless, I would like to say sorry to everybody I offended, all my fans I disappointed, and of course, Tommy.
Leafy's H3H3 rant showed the more toxic and hypocritical side of H3H3.
All he does is make fun of kids?
Okay. Ethan, you sure you want to make this point?
Clean cut? I wouldn't exactly call it clean cut. He's got the hair of a fucking 6-year-old dude with a goddamn shitty toupee.
This butting of heads, in a way, split the portion of the audience that they shared because through and through, they were both in the commentary community talking about strange figures or videos on the internet. As for how Leafy's channel was affected, it wasn't. He still kept making the same videos that the YouTube algorithm shot out and viewers scooped up. This was helped when H3H3 later admitted that he messed up when he called out Leafy and said that he regretted making that video altogether, which helped mend their friendship. But before that happened, another of Leafy's targets, namely Wet Movie 1, called out Leafy for cyberbullying.
This guy looks like he just went through 5 different strokes in the past fucking hour.
As Wet Movie 1 claims, he was placed in special education classes in high school and was considered overweight, leading to much bullying. And now, even after he lost all that weight, he was now getting cyberbullied by Leafy.
Just, making fun of me and shit for the way I look and things.
This video, along with foreshadowing Leafy's future, gained much sympathy from those that detested Leafy, as he pointed out how Leafy focuses largely on criticizing someone's physical attributes rather than their actions, which is overall, for anyone, considered extremely lowbrow, which brings up an interesting aspect of Leafy's success on YouTube. Initially, when he started criticizing channels, he went after their actions and focused almost purely in the controversies that surrounded them. But as time went on, and he started to milk this format by uploading nearly every day, he was potentially running out of targets and had to find easy targets without any controversy initially surrounding them. Sometimes, Leafy created this controversy. So with these relatively unknown figures that did not have a large following, Leafy chose the easiest route, which was personal attacks. This is also when his channel saw the most growth, with each upload getting millions of views, along with getting 500,000 subscribers monthly. But there was still a bit of a rocky path to walk when Leafy had to deal with complications like getting his channel hacked by PudoCorp, which almost seems that its entire purpose was to promote a Twitter account that is now largely inactive. Though Leafy got his channel back from the hackers, every one of Leafy's videos was still changed to the same title, directing viewers to go follow the hackers on Twitter. So he had to manually change every single one of his titles back to their original state. But the problem was that Leafy's titles were so ambiguous and clickbait that he couldn't remember the names for many of his videos. So after the hack, many of his videos went under different titles. Even a hack couldn't stop Leafy's toxicity in his content, which he was very open about. his acceptance of this allowed him to carry knives of incorrigible opinions that, though other channels wielded them, Leafy did it more openly and obviously to the most vulnerable. It was a growing black hole of drama that reached far across YouTube and worked in his favor. And sometimes, well, most of the time, Leafy's attacks against controversial figures were supported, few receiving as much support as his rant towards his ex-friend, Keemstar, who was now under a lot of fire due to iDubbbz releasing a content cop video on him, where iDubbbz dissects the many deplorable things Keemstar has done. This situation for Keemstar was not unlike the controversies Leafy had experienced, except in one regard, it was much worse. The thing about iDubbbz's videos is they gained almost universal support, and there was no splitting of a commentary community like what happened with Leafy and H3H3. It was the people against Keemstar in a massive campaign trying to get Keemstar's competition, Scarce, to grow in size. Leafy claims that he was frustrated at Keemstar because he allegedly insulted him behind his back and treated him poorly as a friend. But what many people believe is it was a business decision to distance himself from Keemstar and make himself look better in the process. So Leafy released the first of 5 videos ranting on about Keemstar, with Leafy progressively getting angrier through his rants. Like iDubbbz's videos and the many other videos attacking Keemstar, Leafy's videos still received massive support. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Sometimes you can just take the middleman out and have your friend as your enemy, which is the case with Leafy and YouTube. The platform that gave him his success was now tearing him down in his prime, with many people supporting him. As seen on Social Blade, he was losing massive amounts of views during August of 2016, which was a month after he made the first Keemstar rant and almost a month after YouTube updated their terms of service where they pledged to crack down on bullying and harassment. These new policies allowed them to take a more firm stance on content like Leafy's. But to be clear, let me explain my earlier statement. Leafy was losing views. No, it was not that Leafy was losing the potential of gaining more views by being recommended less. He was, in a literal sense, losing his total accumulated views because YouTube was striking and removing his videos, putting him, in countless times, close to getting banned. Because on YouTube, after you get your first community guideline strike, 3 more means channel termination. So in reality, Leafy was still getting the same amount of views. It was just that YouTube was removing his videos at such a high rate that it gave him negative views, making it seem like he was losing popularity. That was until a month later that iDubbbz, the same content creator that made the content cop on Keemstar, released a content cop on Leafy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Content Cop. As you can probably tell, I can hardly contain myself right now, because today is the day we get to bully Leafy.
This was a video going through, in a very detailed fashion, how many of Leafy's arguments in his videos are flawed, and how often he uses the word literally and always seems to pronounce it like this.
Literally.
Beyond that, there were 2 crucial parts of this video that made Leafy's fall from grace nearly unrecoverable. First was the large section devoted to trying to find Leafy's chin, because just as Leafy makes fun of others' inherent attributes, iDubbbz was doing the same thing to show Leafy that he's just as vulnerable as the people he criticizes.
Seemed like a lot of people were eager to hide that disgusting chin.
Second was because of these 5 seconds of footage.
Till you're back beside me.
If you didn't catch that, for those few seconds in iDubbbz's video, that was a cameo from H3H3 Productions, the same content creator that uploaded the first big Leafy rant, but made up with him and was supposed to be on friendly terms with Leafy. His sudden collaboration with iDubbbz, even if it was for mere seconds, fueled Leafy's rage. And one of the worst things you can do when making a response video is not keeping a level head. So 3 days later, Leafy released the iDubbbz Content Cop response, a nearly 22-minute long video addressing a few of iDubbbz's points well.
Today I got exposed.
But what overshadowed his points were these skits that were akin to the videos of people he'd make fun of.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? He stole it!
Leafy's response showed that he played right into iDubbbz's hand by even mentioning that iDubbbz talked about his chin. leaving Leafy to play into an emotional, rather than logical, response. iDubbbz then made another video responding to Leafy making fun of his chin yet again.
And it seems like you're still quite a bit bent out of shape about the whole no chin thing. New chin. This look right here I'm calling God's Winter.
Where's the cyberbullying?
Where's the cyberbullying? Don't pretend like you didn't watch. There was 20 minutes of it.
Just as Leafy had done to as many subjects, iDubbbz was doing to him. As some would say, Leafy's response towards iDubbbz was weak, like his chin.
That one there was a violation.
And just as many did to Keemstar when a content cop was made on him, including Leafy, there were an extreme amount of videos discussing or exposing Leafy for things as small as not crediting one of his editors to having channels within the millions of subscriber range tear Leafy apart. At this point in time, it was cool to hate Leafy, so now many people were doing it. Even Keemstar was in on the action. But no matter how much hate Leafy got, he kept throwing out the exact same videos for a simple reason. They worked and they still got views. Even if the dislikes outnumbered the likes and all that was visible were negative comments, the truth is, Leafy was still making a hefty profit. That was until February 2017, the beginning of the adpocalypse and this horrid symbol. Essentially, if you had this attached to your video, it meant that you couldn't make money from it. And Leafy, like any YouTuber, likes money. But with his style of videos, even the ones he was trying to experiment ever so slightly with were massively getting this symbol, or to be properly descriptive, getting demonetized. A few other downers of 2017 were that his nudes were leaked because someone hacked his Snapchat. And now, he was finally seeing a sizable decline in views, no longer reaching over 1 million with each upload, but now hitting the hundreds of thousands per video instead, which is still quite decent considering the quality and the repetitiveness of Leafy's content. As for his upload schedule, Leafy now uploaded only a few times per week, if at all. Following this downward trend, he made it all the way to December of 2017. Over a year after the content cop on him was released. And then, nothing. All there was radio silence. Leafy did show up a few times in places like Drama Alert as he mended his friendship with Keemstar.
All this stuff is not real. You put that in your video to make me look as bad as possible. You fucking lied about me in
I didn't
front of
fucking lie
millions of
about
people. Yes,
No,
your
no, no,
video
I did not
is
fucking
a lie.
Besides those few check-ins, it was largely accepted that Leafy left the internet after being exhausted with YouTube constantly adding new rules that affected either their monetization or his ability to upload. This seemed to be the end of Leafy, with many remembering his presence online as a relic of the older Wild West of YouTube where many forms of controversial content existed and was seemingly promoted by YouTube. Months and months went by with dwindling hope that he would ever return, especially in such an unwelcoming landscape. That was until...
Hello everyone. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account. I think all of it is cool. Yeah, I know. iDubbbz is a simp. I suggest you go idolize someone else. Someone who isn't a simp or a cuck.
Over 2 years later, in March of 2020, the internet called upon him once more. Leafy answering the call by making a statement of his return with this 30-second long video simply titled iDubbbz.
For those of you who are unaware of the drama I recently brought upon myself, I'll fill you in. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account. Yeah, I know,
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
Those few words, in a way, undid the pressure iDubbbz's content cop left on his channel. It took a little over 2 years, but Leafy made a short and effective response against iDubbbz that his and a portion of iDubbbz's audience overwhelmingly supported enough to blow this video past 1 million views in a matter of days and get him trending on Twitter. This video was followed by another, longer video that included more interactions between iDubbbz and his girlfriend. It also had Twitter posts that showed his girlfriend flirting with other content creators, presumably before she met iDubbbz. This situation all happening because iDubbbz's girlfriend decided to start an OnlyFans which had split reactions. Many shunned iDubbbz and called him a cuck. but there were still content creators on iDubbbz' side of the ring. The most important of them all, or at least the one that Leafy hated the most, was still H3H3, the first large content creator who called him out. That was Leafy's next target, as he uploaded a video of H3H3 discussing him.
People saying, oh, Leafy, come back. I would love to see Leafy come back and try to exist in the landscape today. You can't even curse, bro.
You're a fat, fucking disgusting piece of shit.
This is the biggest takeaway from that video, as it propelled Leafy to continue making more videos. Every day that Leafy remained and grew on the platform was a victory for Leafy and a loss for H3H3. With each upload of Leafy's new content, he was spitting in Ethan's face. As for his new content, it consisted a lot more of the footage of the video he was discussing with few comments. He was also more tonally calm and rational as he was playing less of a character. Along with this, he was not uploading daily, but instead whenever he felt like it. Which means he wouldn't go back into the cycle of running out of things to talk about and target smaller drama or creators because his well of topics would run dry. It seemingly reverted to a late 2015 version of his channel where he talked about the many popular current events on YouTube and mostly discussed channels that were of similar or larger size than his. Things were looking pretty good for Leafy, as month after month he uploaded 1 to 5 videos a week and saw decent growth to his platform. At this point, it was apparent that his 2 years on a hiatus only improved his content, with people loving his sometimes unpopular but unique takes on popular subjects. It's safe to say that Leafy was back, and he came back strong, exploring beyond his traditional targets and finding new ones, but none were as frequently discussed on his channel as Pokimane, a popular female Twitch streamer that, like many content creators, had a few controversial aspects of her background. Some of those few controversies included her takedown of videos that many say she took down in an unfair fashion. Though some videos that she took down were not in fair use, as people were uploading her popular stream clips of the month without adding anything transformative to them.
People have made videos about her and she's copyright strike them, the list goes on and on. If you make a video that is negative about her, she's gonna try to gun you.
And I had spoken to my MCN and I was like, is this something that I can take down? Because
But the biggest part that Leafy harped on is her rumored secret boyfriend.
You tier 3 subs, she has a boyfriend. Let me say that one more time. Dude, she has a boyfriend and you're fucking pathetic.
The reason this mattered so much in his and many others' eyes is that Pokimane has a large male following, and a smaller section of those people have skewed worldviews where they believe that donating large sums of money or becoming a higher tier subscriber, which costs a fair amount of money a month, that they will eventually have a pathway to contact her and may end up dating her in the process. Not that many people sympathize with this part of her audience, as their views are extremely unrealistic and difficult to support. But on the other hand, if Pokimane did have a secret boyfriend, she was knowingly profiting off her perceived availability, which is the exact same reason many K-pop stars can't date or at least don't date publicly. There is a very profitable business in selling the idea that you might one day date a superstar. So just as iDubbbz once did to Leafy, Leafy made a series of content nuke videos criticizing Pokimane for the aforementioned reasons, the content nuke spanning around 4 videos. The first video, according to Leafy's recollection, made it to number 8 on YouTube trending under the category of gaming. That was before it was age restricted, then taken off trending, which he appealed for, then it was brought back up on trending again, then it was age restricted again, which means it was taken off of trending once more. The reason for this back and forth was the large amount of pushback, mostly from the Twitch community that knew and defended Pokimane, making decent points of their own, in which Leafy included in his later content nukes on Pokimane.
Yeah, like Leafy literally already got bullied off the internet once.
This drama brought back a taste of 2016 Leafy, as the more drama he caused brought more people back to his channel, causing enough drama for his line of merchandise to almost immediately sell out.
Man, everything is just going so good right now. This is what being lucky is, dude.
And as the series progressed, each edition was considerably less serious. Not only because Leafy was trending on Twitter again under the guise of being Pokimane's secret boyfriend.
Pokimane boyfriend started trending worldwide, which is pretty sick.
But also because people were speedrunning getting banned on Pokimane's Discord server for being affiliated with Leafy in any way.
One.
Fuck. Leafy endorsing this by launching a $500 contest to see who could get banned the fastest. The peak of the situation, and no doubt, was Pokimane announcing her month-long break from streaming starting early August of 2020, which many people perceived it to be influenced by Leafy. Though Pokimane claims that it was because the pandemic was affecting her mental health. Then 13 days later, she apologized for many things mentioned in Leafy's videos, and while she did address Leafy in her video, it was largely covering all of her controversies and it was not meant to purely address Leafy. But the most important part of this video that Leafy later discussed was Pokimane states that she is not transparent about her relationship status because it's something that belongs in her private life. So even something as small as the potential of her having a boyfriend strengthened Leafy's claims about her. It should be mentioned that Leafy made 10 plus Pokimane videos almost one after another. Well, at least that's how it seems on the surface. But in reality, the non-content nuke Pokimane videos had almost nothing to do with her at all. They were just clickbait used to talk about other things, including the stock market, gambling, the reason he hates politics, how to bargain with an editor, and which content creators he was interacting with. But with him causing Pokimane to constantly trend on Twitter in what seemed to be a relentless campaign that caused the Twitch streamer to quit momentarily meant bad public relations for his worst enemy that has been gunning to take his channel down for a very long time. In the morning of August 20th, 2020, those wanting to revisit Leafy's videos could only watch them through re-uploads, as his channel was banned from YouTube. Pokimane immediately stated that she had nothing to do with it, and some content creators rejoicing that action was taken on Leafy's channel. But this unveiled a unfun president of YouTube, and that is how YouTube, overnight, deleted Leafy's channel without warning for potentially breaking the rules against harassment and bullying. Typically, when you are making content that you shouldn't, YouTube will take down a video and give you a community guideline strike so you understand not to make that content again. If you get 3 strikes, like in baseball, then you're out. But in Leafy's case, all 3 balls were thrown to the pitcher's plate while he was sleeping and gave him no chance to redeem himself, which is something many content creators saw wrong in. Not to mention that many of Leafy's Pokimane videos had very little to do with her. Following this ban, he was also banned on Twitch and Twitter. His strongest presence on social media is Instagram, as any attempt to come back to YouTube, even his covert accounts that he only uses to keep track of his subscriptions, get banned almost immediately. The story of Leafy's downfall was a strange one because it was not due to lack of interest and viewers slowly dropping off. It was due to too much interest. He was just too good at his job. And while the narrative remains that he did much harm to the YouTube channels he covered in the past, many benefited from his videos and milked their attachment to Leafy. There's still a strange irony about how the sensationalism that brought him up was the thing that inspired his downfall. Leafy is now a fossil that has no hope of returning through YouTube. There is no hope for a comeback, a return, or another rise. Just the terrifying reminder that YouTube can strike down any channel and leave nothing but archive videos hinting at something larger. A fate that through Leafy can now happen to anyone. Leafy, like a leaf in autumn, has fallen and gone with the wind.